G9 were definitely watching that game.
The surprise factor's gone, but you have to consider he needs to be attacked when he gets in there, and that is your first intent. Fiddle's on me, quick attack him if you're not the one feared, kill him and walk away because it's just going to be less damage. But when he takes all that damage, that means you have no cooldowns for the other people coming in on you, and that's really what is so scary about a tank Fiddle because your mind says attack as soon as he comes in. We're on the Rift. We'll have to see if Cloud9 can keep their head in the clouds and keep themselves in the lead.
Yeah, and the other big part about Fiddlesticks is he does bring so much utility to the game. That's why he's used as a support, fairly often. He's got the huge bouncing silence that's extremely annoying that he gets from his Dark Wind, and then the Terrify, his fear spell, starts out level 1 is already 1 second, and it just goes up from there.
I'm just shaking my head. This is such a scary level 1 from Coast. Obviously, they're walking by a ward, but to get hit up by everything they have, if you get feared from that range, just quite a bit of range he can fear you at. Kind of deceiving. Ball's just on one side, says, we're safe. Keep the hover down towards mid. We don't need anybody dying here.
That's another thing when we're looking at early invades to keep in mind. When you have these junglers that have strong CC abilities, they almost never want to start that, and they'll only start a CC ability if they're guaranteeing a kill. Like if you're Nautilus or something, you do not want to start your hook because that's going to mean your jungle's extremely hard. But if it means a guaranteed first blood, that's when we'll see people actually pick up that fear or that that hook. But Fiddlesticks, if he starts level 1 Terrify, it
would be super
a
hard.
Horrendous time in the jungle, and he would have to have help on his buff to get him level 2.
He is not. They didn't push in too far. Holding the skills, it looks like he does get his drain off first. Actually, he hasn't chose the skill still. And now he puts it in. Drain just go. Actually, yeah, Dark Winded it.
But they are going to have a normal start here. It looks like Shifter is going to be edging down towards the bottom side, but Daydreamin' is in sort of this, we've seen it a couple times already, where we have post someone down at the bottom of the blue buff to be a live ward, a sort of moving man, human ward, as CLG called it, just so that the very, very common invades on blue nowadays are not successful.
Looks like Coast is going to try and pressure mid with the AD carry dual lane. We got Daydreamin' and Mash Me up against High. High should be able to just quickly poke this lane out and not have too much trouble, but we may see Meteos giving him some attention in that mid lane. And
some of the reasons that could go into the decision not to send your ADN support top and go mid instead are, of course, the roaming support from mid, and that's great for counter jungling, but also, if you look at the champions, you've got Jace at mid and Rumble at top. Rumble, everyone always talks about how Rumble's so effective even on a small economy. If you starve him of gold early, he can still have a great impact on the early team fights. And whereas Jace needs to get ramped up early. He needs to get that tier, start stacking, and then pile on the attack damage.
Meteos just hopping into this bottom lane, soaking up some experience and helping them get the push on. See if Nintendo tries to make any moves off of this. Fiddle not really too effective until you get that ultimate up, unless you just kind of waltz into lane on your stick legs.
On the stick legs. He also has flash too, so the first gank from Fiddle, even before he's level 6, is actually pretty scary because a flash sphere could be coming in, and he looks like he can head bottom, but there's not much that he can do. They're going to have to send 3 people to try and answer this.
And this is Lemon Nation saying, we're at the turret. What time is it? 3:30. The jungler could be around his camps by this time. Oh, Zion Spartan, get him up. Hit up quick. Good there with the Ignite on.
Well, look at this blue elixir. Very early blue elixir popped by Balls. We haven't seen a lot of elixir starts since the red elixirs were increased in cost, but blue elixir for Rumble is amazing, especially with the recent changes to Rumble that reward using the overheat, what's it called when it's in the middle? The danger zone?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a much better name anyway. The danger zone. They reward you for using the danger zone and keeping your heat in that middle sector where you get an extra 50% damage now. So cooldown reduction from that elixir does help out there.
See if he can keep that steam controlled, moving up, still pressuring onto the turret. Looks like Nintendo's really not able to give up that much pressure for guarding a turret. That's kind of one of the downfalls that Fiddle is. The presence in the lane, like you said, is from the flash engage. The walk up isn't very scary. Yeah,
Fiddle doesn't have great, wave clear. He's got level 2 Dark Wind. Actually, he's maxing that dark, or at least putting early points into the Dark Wind first. To get the bouncing damage here and try and do his best to clear, but he's no match for this 3-man push bottom, and they are going to get the first turret.
bam, we have a 4-minute, 45-second turret coming in. They get the slow and the red buff there. Will he be able to get another one? Negative. Sneaky takes down the turret, and we have a 1,000 gold lead.
High's flash was just burned middle as well. Daydreaming with a nice combo there. They were able to get flash off of Jace. That's actually fairly huge. The turret still has plenty of life now, though. So the decision for C9 at this point is, do we want to go for Dragon, or do we want to help out High and defend that mid turret first?
And we see this coming in, 23 to 11 CS, also 40 on balls to Zion Spartan's 21. That early aggression and the blue elixir gave him so much control of that lane.
Balls has just been bullying most of the top lanes that he's come up against. He plays very aggressively, and you can see here, he doesn't even have a ward seeing Fiddle come in, but it doesn't matter because he's harassed Zion down so low already that they can't gank him successfully, or else they would die.
We'll see what he has to go back and buy as well. He's against that Elise. May try to get the Haunting guys, but may not put too much health under his belt so he doesn't take the damage. Pushes mid lane as High is going to go back. We have Sneaky and Lemon Nation taking over in that jurisdiction.
So they do decide to go with the protection of the mid turret. Good call right there. They're going to keep their perimeter secured, and it's going to be a much harder here for the Don't Mask Me Daydreaming to get any damage on this turret, because the global gold already is in the advantage here for C9, and Sneaky just went to go purchase, so he's got plenty of attack damage boost from the early spike of long swords and Doran's blade.
And absolutely, we see Balls not going for health, too much health on that, I should say. He goes for the Negatron Cloak along with Ruby, just to keep that damage down in lane.
Yeah, so revisiting the top lane there, the Balls, as a jungler, one of the most scary things is seeing a Rumble up top get ahead early, because you are very scared to go gank that Rumble. You can't just reset the balance of that lane by ganking for your top laner, because Rumble has so much AoE damage that if you gank him and there's even a possibility of a counter gank, you guys will just get wrecked, because Rumble does so much AoE damage, he'll bring you down both at the same time.
A lot of pressure being put down mid. The Lantern comes in. Nintendo gets in range. The Fear is down. Sneaky is as well. First blood going to Nintendo. The first one counts from him.
And that was a level 1 Terrify, so it's still only 1 second, but that was enough. He's got also the silence from Darkwind to follow that up, and they're able to keep Sneaky down.
You don't always need a flash.
You don't
You
always
get a lantern.
Don't always have to use the flash there either. I mean, it's a great. That's why everyone is so in awe of Thresh.
Yeah.
The lantern's just such a neat new move that was added.
It creates so many opportunities.
So many different ways to use that one effectively. High, meanwhile, taking the opportunity to free farm in this bottom lane, and he's actually shoving it. He's not just last hitting here. He doesn't want to freeze at his lane. He's been shoving it the entire way, and he leaves a cannon minion. He'll probably shoot that one with a shock blast. Boom. Gets that one as well.
That top lane buy coming in for Zion Spartan is going to be a Chalice, so both of them saying, damn, this lane hurts a little bit. And they're going for defense right away. Nintendo getting that blue buff up. He's going to add some good buys after that first blood of the game. Now we're going to see it. Cloud9, they've been on the back foot a little bit in the beginning of the game, and they're usually the ones that have the faster ones, so we'll have to see when they start to spark that and it gets ignited.
Well, we already see Meteos laying down the framework here for jungle invades up top, and you're definitely going to see some more attention up top here from Cloud9, it looks like, because they've now got vision inside the red jungle here. Nintendo is going to be unaware that he's been spotted up there, and that will help out Cloud9 a lot. It looks like they are indeed sending 2 up there now.
Looks like, yeah, Meteos is just on the side. Looks like he's going to take Wolves. Well, Balls heads to that top lane if there isn't too much pressure here in the mid. And actually, we may have Lemon Nation joining in on this too.
Yeah, so to prep this as well, not only did they lay down wards in the red side jungle, but they had High shoving that bottom lane, like I said. And so they shove out this bottom lane quickly, and then quickly move all their resources from that bottom lane up top so that they can continue to pressure and keep coast on the back foot here. Meteos actually, you know, he's just farming his jungle, and High is even heading back down to that lane. Looks like he wants a piece of Shifter.
So this deep ward here at that red Kobe, definitely a Fiddle's level 6. We need all times, all vision right now, even if it's not where he's going to be ulting from. You saw the ping just even at Wraiths. Nintendo X going to the other side. Now to just wait, bated breath.
And we'll have to see if he does go for an early Oracles again to try and counter that vision, because channeling a Crowstorm from vision of your opponents is the worst feeling ever, because they'll make you look silly, and they can just dodge it, get out of the way, blow your entire large cooldown that makes up most of the kit. So definitely have to be very, very careful about where you're engaging from.
High stacking up that Mana Moon in the bottom lane, trying to get some damage. He was pressuring out Shifter there, and looks like Shifter won't be able to stay. But it's a lull between the teams now here at 10 minutes. The gold is really just straight even with one turret in each team's favor. This just farming of Cloud9 right now has put them up that 300 gold that they have. See Zion Spartan, that turret. I'd love to click on it and just see how much gold it has, because he has had a hard time in that top lane.
Yeah, Zion has had a rough time, and so has the other solo lane here for Coast. Shifter and Zion are both falling behind the solos here for Cloud9. Balls has been relentless in this top lane, just shoving over and over and losing so much CS to that Coast tower for Zion.
So Repel is going to be the saving grace here for Zion Spartan, just to make sure he does it in a safe spot. He is now within the turret range, and he's saying, Balls, you're not trying to aggress me. You're playing differently. Something's up.
Looking for a 2 versus 2. Nintendo does leave, though.
Good blast. Nice shock blast through the gate for High. Spreading out the damage just a little bit, and this is going to be Nintendo Dex coming down. The pings are everywhere. They decide to still go. Having Zion Spartan there, they may try to activate this in mid, but it's going to be Nintendo trying to run up top. He thinks he can get there in time to clean up one of these kills. Zion doing a very good job at staying alive, but he finally goes down. Will Nintendo be there in time? The ward has gone down, Kobe. He may be able to cross over the wall.
Nintendo coming in.
Oh, surprise, gentlemen. It comes in. Balls may go down here. Meteos gets out just in time. I would have said Meteos to stay and fight there, because the passive would have been up.
Yeah, that was close. I mean, they should have backed off from the turret, because they actually didn't have any wards in that tri-bush, and they both got so low. I was going to compliment them on that turret dive, though, because they managed the tower aggro well.
Yeah, they were in and out.
Balls went just out of tower range to lose aggro, and then flashes back in so that he can continue to do damage while Meteos is tanking it. But then they overstay their welcome, and Nintendo collects one more kill.
So he is definitely making an impact on this Fiddlesticks. They're not taking it into consideration, but they aren't thinking it's going to be doing as much as it is so far. So he is putting himself on the map this game for sure. And as he said in the role as they went out in the beginning of the day, we carried yesterday. Looks like he's going to try to do it again.
He is going to try, and it's a good buy to pick up early mobility boots if you're going to go for that sort of impact all over the map.
The run top just got a kill for him, so he's saying, I need that again.
Exactly, and he does go with the tanky Fiddlesticks build once again. He's opting for the Ancient Golem jungle item instead of the ability one. It looks like they're prepped for Dragon as well with a pink ward. Fiddlesticks is actually really strong at getting early Dragons, but they have a little sneaky ward in here from Cloud9 that's up towards the middle, and they see him go for it. Problem is, they don't have many people in the area to actually contest this one.
And there have been different wards being placed down here. You can see it's not the Wraith ward, it's just on the other side of the Wraith wall. Cloud9 is trying to predict where they're going to be, so they don't have the original wards as much. The Dragon ward, it was pinked, but they don't have any surrounding it to say, we can maybe fight this.
Yeah, they definitely want to be, you want to be unpredictable with your ward placement. If you place the same wards every single game, teams are going to see that in their research, and they are going to be able to counter you, either work around those wards or just pink ward them and remove them altogether.
Nintendo Dex looks like he's going to get a bit of harassment here. If High knows that is up, he seems to be patiently waiting on it. Is he have vision just on the outside?
Yeah, he's looking for middle. He's actually going to look for mid right now. Throw some shock blasts in there. Nintendo is going to have a scary situation if he does get seen by High, but they pull out just in time.
See that blue buff coming up on Nintendo. His ult is up from the backside. The shield comes in, and they don't decide to do anything. They know the clear is there, and once they see Nintendo, they say, let's go slow on this one.
And we have Meteos taking the long walk up to top, charging up Slingshot.
He goes back in. They throw down another equalizer. Didn't do as much damage last time, but he's going to be forced, not to fall into it. He dodges 100% of the damage practically.
Yeah, that's 2 ultimates down there, and Zion Spartan, all he had to do was repel.
So Zion Spartan finally getting to that point where he feels comfortable alone in the top lane. That movement from Nintendo really just would have been to counter what they saw. Those ultimates being down was a perfect engagement for them, but Cloud9 even knew they were in a poor position, and they backed off. So we see Meteos picking up blue. The Shifter could get caught here. He's going to get out.
Yeah, he's going to walk around, and there's no members to capitalize on that. But they are actually ahead now. Coast, after that Dragon, they're ahead in gold, despite, you know, the losing in CS for most of the lanes.
Definitely a different game than we saw previously. They're both teams kind of getting kills. The farm is at a normal clip this time. 15 minutes into the game, the gold's still quite even. It's only going to be about 600 gold in favor of Coast. That goes to really the farming and the kill in their favor here. That first blood going to Nintendo is 400. I was coming off the backside of an assist.
Right here we have Nintendo coming in. It gets spotted by a ward. Good job by High, but it's too late.
There, they throw the death mark down. This is going to be enough. High could not get out of this one. He actually throws a Crow Storm down for good measure. They come up with a kill as Meteos comes to protect.
That's how you do a Fiddlesticks gank. He uses everything right there. Make sure they get High down as quickly as possible, and he doesn't have a chance to escape.
You walk up next to them before Crow Storm. Getting it off, making sure you got the damage. And I'm sure they want that blue buff on Meteos, but there just won't be enough pressure to get it down. Sneaky taking good damage here. The buckshot hits as well, so Mashme kind of trying to control this in mid, but he doesn't have enough vision to continue the damage.
And since they were 2 versus 1 middle, you know, that Graves is pretty farmed, and he definitely has the advantage when shoving waves, so they were able to get that one to the turret here. Coast now definitely have the momentum in this one.
Zion Spartan, I think for the first time, really pushing his lane up here, feeling confident to be in a spot where, you know, balls could actually kill him, but he's been getting out of it. Zion playing very well after the first few hits in that top lane. True shot barrage from Ezreal to clear out mid as everybody's just figuring out some core item buys as they start to come in at 16 minutes. Like we said, we have those spirit golems coming out, haunting guys for both of the top laners.
Yeah. They have very, very similar builds. They would almost be the same if Zion didn't have to use mana. Instead of getting the Negatron Cloak, he went with the Chalice, which is a little bit less magic resist, but he also gets a bunch of mana regen. So they pretty much have the exact same thing going on here, going with spell penetration and resistances for both.
The penetration indeed. The Sork Boots just picked up onto balls there. Daydreaming, throwing out Crow. Trying to shut everyone up for a second. They get off the turret. The turret's been taking damage just gradually. It doesn't seem like it's a focus for them to take that down, though. Why?
Well, they would definitely love to take it down if they could, but it's very hard because Graves has the wave clear, and here goes the ultimate from Nintendo.
Crow Storm over the wall. Will Lemon Nation decide to ultimate on this one? They're right in front of him. He still is holding it. There he goes with the ultimate. He was waiting for balls to come in. The Flame Spitter now to come out, and he overheats perfectly with it to continue the auto attack damage.
Lemon Nation waiting until they're on the Rumble ultimate there, trying to keep them in place for the burn damage, and they are able to answer back.
Oh man, I was about to phone home and tell him to crescendo. And he hit it at the perfect time, the equalizer after. These guys are really playing with cohesive measures, if you will.
Wait until you see the whites of their eyes.
Exactly. Meteos pushing the top lane now, Kobe. We're 18 minutes in, and Coast is kind of starting to dictate these fights a little bit. They seem like they're in the upper hand. It looked like a hectic fight, but like I said, Lemon Nation held the crescendo because they were just so patient. They knew they had the upper hand.
Yeah, and now Ball's trading blows here with Zion once again, both trying to delay each other to get up to this top turret. So Meteos actually comes out ahead, finishes it off, and that will be another tower down here. For Coast, as we have Lemon Nation.
Lemon Nation, that crescendo's down, but High coming just on the backside. There's always somebody there for Cloud9 that isn't in the engagement when Coast goes at it that really throws them off kilter.
Ooh, so Shifter went in there. All the damage is coming from Shifter. The Nintendo and Daydreamin are basically CC bots if they don't have the ultimates, and so they were throwing out the Terrify and actually landed a death sentence at the end, but since Shifter had already gone in, used his damage and taken too much, they couldn't follow up on it. Lose this tower too, so out of perimeter, down for Coast.
Seeing in the inventories, what do we have? 3 kills still for Nintendo. Those are going to have to start going to other people soon. If he is going to get all the kills, they're not going to have the damage they want in the later part of the game. Balls is going to be able to just run through these fights on Rumble. Like you said, once that Rumble gets going, it becomes an avalanche.
Very, very scary. Balls' Rumble has had a huge impact on the game, and where that can be shown is in dragon fights like this. We'll have to see if he can get all the way there in time. Time to take out these pink ward. It will delay it long enough, though, so everyone going to congregate around this dragon.
Good words for both teams. It's still inside. Lemon Nation placing the sneaky one just to the left of the rock there. Walking over the pink. No real engagement just yet. There are a good amount of gap closers here, but they want to make sure everybody can follow up. And it's almost scary for them to fight at this portion of the jungle. It's good with a fiddle to fight in the jungle, but for Graves, this is going to be a tough chokehold.
Yeah, especially when you have a Rumble. Yeah, the Rumble ultimate in either of the avenues to Dragon would be devastating. So it doesn't really matter which side of blue they came down. Balls would be able to land a nice ultimate, and if they did get another crescendo on top of that, it would have spelled doom for Coast. With that poke, it was just too much. Free Dragon for Cloud9 right there. Coast make the right decision to back off.
So Cloud9 kind of winning with movement now. They've just pretty much walked as a group around. Were able to grab Dragon off of doing a good amount of poke damage to start that fight. And now that gold lead that was, or the gold rather, that was even is now a gold lead. 28-4 to 26-3. 2 turrets in the favor of Cloud9 as well.
They still have their bottom and top turrets up, which means so much more to them. You can see there's 0 wards here for Coast inside the Cloud9 half of the map. And that's because their defenses are still up and they're able to keep the rest of Coast all the way on their side.
Definitely something that's worked in advantage of Cloud9 is their pressure to win games very early. 1, 2, 3 turrets means taking that 1 turret for Coast was super hard. Yeah, it was the middle one, but all 3 of their outer are down right now because Sneaky and Lemon went so hard on bottom lane. Yeah, they were able to come up with kills in mid, but it's not helping in gold right now. They need to figure out what to do. Yeah,
plus Cloud9 had 2 Muramanas. Or 2 Mana Moons, and now they have 1 Muramana here. Highs has already changed, so his damage just got a huge spike, and they completed the Aegis of the Legion, so they've got team fighting potential.
He switches, he's on pretty high cooldowns right now. He's getting the full max on that death mark, and he takes him out, and with the ignite.
Pretty high cooldowns were too long actually for I right there. Couldn't get away from Shifter with the Blade of the Ruined King active on that death mark. It was just way too much solo potential here from Shifter. That's why he keeps taking Zed over and over again. Shifter loves to have these duels.
Put himself in the spot to make it happen. Meteos heads towards the bottom lane. He feels more safe. He doesn't die, so he's going to be able to handle himself in that lane. Pressure here now. Coast able to do a little bit. We see Zion Spartan trying to push, but this composition isn't a tower-crushing composition, and maybe that's why we're seeing them have a hard time.
And just off to the right of your screen there, you could barely see Lemon Nation placing that very difficult ward over this wall. If you place it far enough, then it can actually go farther than you can normally place a ward and get into that bush. A lot of people actually fail this ward, and it comes short. And it comes short and doesn't land in the bush.
I don't believe you.
He wouldn't have been alerted to Nintendo's presence, but since he is such a pro support, they are able to see Nintendo.
So a lot of things that Cloud9 has done has kind of been in the 2v2, the 1v1 situation. We haven't really seen Mashme, 236 on CS right now, really getting there, almost a Phantom Dancer in his hands. He's about a good 50 CS above Sneaky right now, who's doing well for himself. The blue build is on its way. We probably like that Sheen right now.
Coast caught out of position right now. Cloud9 are making their push down this middle turret, and we don't have Shifter. He's going to continue to split push, so they're going to try and trade this one, keep the defenses up with just 4 people.
Shifter's been down there for a while, and it kind of goes to the point where I said they don't have the greatest tower pushing crew once they get to it. We saw Zion just in the top lane trying to put the pressure on, and we see that Cloud9 can still throw the poke. Meteos almost going into that fight, just kind of pulling it back to stretch out.
So Mashme uses collateral damage, a huge cooldown, not there anymore, plus his mana is gone, so he recalls.
He is still going. These guys were not able to grab the turret. They may not have the turret pushing abilities, but with Graves there, they are able to stop the sieges. Coming back from their base, Mashme is actually back right now. They're going to get some good pressure here. A 1 turret in the bottom lane, but Shifter has taken 2 to the 1 so far. Now evening that up, it's going to be 4 turrets in favor, of Cloud9.
Shifter canceled his recall also. Now he's going on that inhibitor turret. He's continuing to shove this wave, and Cloud9 have to answer this one.
There's a crescendo flash in, but it was the fear. Balls was not ready to engage with them. Sneaky gets pulled in, completely boxed up, but he gets the arcane shift out very nicely. It's going to be the 1v1 again between Shifter and High.
Nintendo needed every little piece of health that he's built right there. He was under 100 HP.
High looks like he's got the good push. Shifter definitely taking a bit of damage. Didn't like what happened there because the Muramana was used up last time, but now with him High using it first, Shifter sees that situation a little differently.
Such an even game right now. Both of them not able to break through the inhibitor turrets. The base is still intact, and we also have the Crow Summer available for Nintendo right now, but don't match when he gets caught out.
2 spells, half health. We gets a third in there, but it's kind of the dot damage that hitting a little bit on the tick. 5-3 in kills at 25 minutes into the game. The gold kind of stretching within 1,000.
Red buff for don't mash me over here. Yeah, both teams really need to lick their wounds after this one. If they put more thought into the wave control for their next push, then that could make all the difference, because both of them, neither of them have teleport, but both of them have a lane that they can go to already beat on those inhibitor turrets.
Getting all the lanes pressed out to the river right now. Both teams seem like they're trying to get on that same page before they really engage. The wards are going out. We see an Oracle's coming out. Still the pink wards are really being used. No, there's one for Daydream, and so they are starting to get their jungle back to their own right now. And Coast looking to really be able to use Mash Me in these fights. He's almost there to that build. He actually went that quick last Whisper in between going for the Phantom Dancer. He just had a huge chunk of gold.
Yeah, that's really popular build in China also, where they were doing Graves a lot in their burst combos. Just using him sort of as that AD caster, AD carry role, where you get so much damage for Graves with his kit if you build raw attack damage and armor penetration. That Bloodthirster Last Whisper combo is a huge power spike for Graves, and it's all AoE damage, his combo, so he can actually blast down a huge chunk of most of C9 if he's able to get that one off.
It looks like they're setting this one up to hide. If they know they're not walking through wards, they're going to come out with a Fiddle ulti on this. You can see the pink ward going down to mid, but they don't really have vision of where they are going to come from, so they have to be careful as well. That Coast, that is. It's just going to be Cloud9 making their way to their own jungle. They want to figure out where Coast is before making a move. Very safe play by both teams right now.
Shifter is constantly split pushing, and this has awarded him the highest level in the game. He's level 16 right now, and he can 1v1 anybody. So when he's split pushing, he forces Cloud9 to actually be the ones to react and send someone up there. We saw High go heads up with Shifter before and lose that duel, so it's a dangerous move for them. Shifter just needs some more vision, and he can go aggressive.
He's doing work for himself. We got to remember, I think when we called it before, it was like 25-9 CS. Jace was up on Shifter in the beginning of that game. It's almost the same thing that happened to Mandatory Cloud. Same story. They pressured him so hard in the beginning, and then you let him go, and he's able to bring the game back for his team. Now 2-0-0. He's looking like he can do that.
Yeah, I mean, the experience is even more important than the gold here. He's got the level 3 of his death mark because of that 16, so he can definitely burst down any one of these Cloud9 members.
Oh, standing on the pink. They try to go for the hook, but hesitate just a little too much. They wanted to get him unexpected on the walkout. It's like it's just going to be a full pressure in mid. Everybody's showing themselves now, and I think Zion Spartan may come up with a team soon here.
The Baron dance once again. We've already passed the danger zone where so many throws have happened. The early Barons that we've seen so far in Super Week, costing pretty much every team that has started them. Neither of these guys are going to bite on that one. And it's more in the realm of the Oracle's control and everyone just fighting over vision here.
Meteo's jumping in. He throws himself up for Let's Bounce. He got feared for the first part of it. That's huge damage on a Nintendo. He goes for the Crow Storm. No, the fear rather, to get himself in, but Balls drops him. It's going to be Zion Spartan trying to get back out of the fight, but he gets taken down by High. Shifter is out of the fight as well, just getting missed by the Shock Blast, 400 HP. And they get out, but a big fight for Cloud9 as they look at the inhibitor turret.
Tanky Fiddle, not tanky enough, and so much of Cloud9. Oh!
That was a pretty good pull. It's a good save, very good save on Mash Me by Daydream in there.
Yeah, that wasn't going to be an injury. I was wondering if Daydream would actually go in on that death sentence, because it would be a very poor choice. He actually didn't end up taking that one in.
He has to go back now. That Oracles is something they want to take out. We have to consider that Cloud9 has to overly buy wards here. They are trying to put, and like we said, they're in different positions all over the place because of Fiddle.
So the Fiddle there, actually, you know, he got blown up and stuff, but that wasn't really the biggest problem for Coast. The problem was they used so much of their CC on the Zac that was in Let's Bounce, which gives him so much tenacity. He has free tenacity when he's in his ultimate and reduces the duration of all of those crowd controls that are so important to Coast composition. They really wasted a lot of their control there.
Yeah, any fears, taunts, silences, whatever have you. We actually saw him feared in air, and before he hit the ground, that had worn off. So you can just see how fast that tenacity works with his ultimate. Going back to the top laners, we were talking about him before, kind of getting the same builds. Yeah, that happened again. Besides the needlessly large rod and that first buy of Chalice and Negatron Cloak, these guys almost mirroring each other. He's obviously trying to get that penetration for Elise and the catch. Once you get down, there it is. Shifter going in, doesn't get the extra damage. This is going to be the tickle for the death mark.
Yeah, you're right. Coast are definitely looking for catches and picks right now because like we just saw in the last one, the AoE here from Cloud9, devastating for their team. They have too much confusion from Let's Bounce added onto the map control or the battlefield control and zoning potentials of the Rumble ultimate and the crescendos.
The thing is, though, that one-on-one, the trying to look for picks, is a very slow regain of control, and it's like once Cloud9 activates something, it's almost two of those fights for Coast, so it's almost like they need the team fights.
Yeah, and Cloud9 are not wasting time. They're prepping up this Baron area, so it's fully under their control. They have the advantage if a fight does break out around this Baron because they've got double pink wards in the most common ward spots, and then they have another green ward that's going to see Coast coming in here. It's going to be Lemon placing one more.
There's the hook. The Baron goes down. They have the shock plat or the gate right there. Oh, Nintendo coming over the wall. They did not have the ward, but they said, why are they backing off? Daydreaming goes down fast. Nintendo not really shredding through anybody. Remember, he's only a tank. It's for the other team to follow him and do damage, but they're all getting taken down now. It's not working out as planned. Mashme's going to go down here. He is going to lose that double buff as well. That goes over to Meteos. Meteos 1-0-5, still alive in the game. They come up with 4.
Daydreaming just jumps in right after Nintendo and gets blown to smithereens right there. Cloud9, devastating team fight. With how decisive they've been, I'm not surprised if they go for the win after this one, straight for Nexus turrets.
They're going very hard. Shifter, a good burst of damage, but he's going to have to get it on everybody, and nobody's going to go down right away. So they are going to be able to focus in 1, 2, 3, knock back. It goes to Balls, having a very good game at 5-1-3 and just 31 minutes. Thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but Cloud9 rather, not liking those long games. Bring it up to 32 and take the Nexus away from Coast.
There's a decisive team fight. The Baron and the win all very quickly here. And Cloud9 still undefeated.